The alarm screamed through the corridors of Station Helios. Wu pressed her hands against her ears, but the sound cut through anyway. She was only 8 years old, and the red lights spinning across the walls made her stomach twist with fear. Wu, come here right now. Her father's voice was sharp in a way she had never heard before. Dr. One grabbed her hand and pulled her into his laboratory. Her mother, Doctor, was already there, typing frantically on a computer screen. "What's happening?" Wu asked. Her voice came out small and scared. Her mother turned around. There were tears on her face. "Baby, listen to me very carefully. We don't have much time." Through the walls, Wu could hear sounds, screaming, gunfire, something that sounded like metal tearing apart. Her father pulled open a small door in the wall. Inside was a pod barely big enough for one person. It looked like a sleeping bag made of metal and glass. "Get in, sweetheart," her father said. His hands were shaking. "No, I want to stay with you." Wu grabbed her father's coat. She could smell smoke now coming from somewhere in the station. Her mother knelt down and held Wu's face in both hands. "You have to be brave. This pod will keep you safe. It will put you to sleep, and when you wake up, help will be here. Do you understand?" Wu didn't understand. Nothing made sense. Why couldn't they all get in the pod together? Why was her mother crying? The laboratory door exploded inward. 3 figures walked through the smoke. They were tall, taller than any human. Their bodies looked like insects standing on 2 legs, covered in dark armor that seemed to grow from their skin. One of them, the one in front, had markings on his face that looked like old scars. His eyes were black and empty. "Get in the pod now." One shoved Wu toward the opening. She stumbled inside, hitting her head on the metal edge. Everything was spinning. Her mother slammed her hand on a button. The pod door started to close, but it moved slowly, too slowly. Through the narrowing gap, Wu could see everything. The lead creature walked forward. He moved like a hunter, slow and confident. He looked at the pod, then at Wu's parents, then he laughed. The sound was like metal scraping against stone. "Humans," he said in a voice that clicked and hissed. "Always trying to save their young. So emotional, so weak." "Please," said, "take whatever you want. The research, the data, everything, just let us go." The creature pulled out a device and pointed it at them. "I am Ho of the, I take what I want and I leave no witnesses. But first," he pulled out another device, a small camera. "I want to remember this." The pod door was almost closed, just a small crack remaining. Wu pressed her face against the glass inside, watching through blurred tears. Ho turned on his camera. "This is kill number 347, 2 human researchers. They thought they could hide their data from us. They were wrong." He smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "They begged. They always beg." One stood in front of trying to shield her. "You don't have to do this. We gave you everything. The station is yours." "I know," Ho said, "but killing you makes me famous. Every mercenary in the galaxy will see this video. They will know Ho does not leave loose ends." He fired. The weapon made no sound, but one fell. Just fell like someone had cut his strings, screamed and dropped beside him. She held his body and screamed his name over and over. Ho walked closer, still recording. "Look at her, so much feeling. This is why humans are inferior. You let emotions make you stupid." Wu pounded on the glass with her small fists. She couldn't make a sound. The pod had sealed completely now, and some kind of gas was filling the small space. Her vision was getting blurry, not just from tears but from something else. Looked up at Ho. Her face was covered in tears and something else, something dark. "You will pay for this," she said quietly. "Somehow, someday, you will pay." Ho laughed again. "Threatening me, that's new. Usually they just beg more." He leaned down close to her face. "Tell me, human, who will make me pay?" "You." He gestured at one's body. "Him. The galaxy doesn't care about humans. You're small and weak and forgettable." He pressed the weapon against forehead. Wu could see her mother's lips moving. She was saying something, but Wu couldn't hear through the glass. It looked like, I love you." The weapon fired again, fell beside one still holding his hand. Ho turned off his camera. Perfect. This will get so many views. He looked around the laboratory at all the equipment and computers. His two companions were already pulling out drives and stealing data. Take everything. Burn the rest. He started to walk away, then stopped. He turned and looked directly at the pod. For one terrible moment, Wu thought he could see her. His black eyes seemed to stare right through the glass, right into her soul. But then he turned away. No survivors, no witnesses, that is the way. He walked out, stepping over the bodies without a second look. The other two creatures worked fast. They pulled wires from machines. They took data cores from computers. One of them pulled out a small bomb and attached it to the wall. They left the laboratory, and a moment later, Wu heard an explosion from somewhere far away in the station. The gas in the pod was making her sleep. She fought it, trying to keep her eyes open, trying to watch the door in case her parents would wake up and come get her. But they weren't moving. They would never move again. The last thing Wu saw before her eyes closed was her mother's hand, still reaching toward the pod, toward her. The lights in the pod changed from red to blue. Ice began to form on the inside of the glass. The temperature dropped fast, so fast that Wu's last breath became fog in the air. Her heart slowed. Her blood cooled. The sleep system activated fully, freezing her in time, preserving her life in the moment of her greatest loss. Outside the pod, the station died around her. Fires burned through the corridors. Air vented into space through holes blown in the hull. Bodies floated in zero gravity where life support had failed. Station Helios, once home to 237 humans, became a tomb. And in that tomb, inside a small metal pod, a little girl slept. She slept with the image of her parents' murder burned into her mind. She slept with the face of their killer frozen in her memory. She slept with her mother's final words echoing in her dreams. Ho had made a mistake. He thought he left no survivors. He was wrong. The cub lived, and someday the cub would grow teeth. The salvage ship, Morning Star, drifted slowly through the debris field. Captain Min stood at the bridge, looking at the remains of Station Helios through the viewport. 15 years had passed since the massacre, and the station was just a ghost now, spinning slowly in the dark. "Anything worth taking?" Min asked his crew. A young technician checked his scanner. "Some metal, maybe. Computer cores might still have value if they're intact. Wait." He leaned closer to his screen. "Captain, I'm getting a power signature. Something is still running down there." Min raised an eyebrow. "After 15 years, that's impossible." "I'm telling you what I'm reading. Sector C, the science labs. Something is definitely active." Min thought for a moment. Active power meant technology, and technology meant money. "Suit up. We're going in." 3 hours later, Min and his medical officer stood in the ruined laboratory. Bodies still floated in the zero gravity, frozen and preserved by the cold of space. Looked away from them, her stomach turning. "Over here," Min called. He had found the pod covered in frost, still glowing with a blue light. "It's a pod, and it's occupied." Rushed over, she wiped the frost off the viewing window and gasped. Inside was a little girl, eyes closed, skin pale as snow. "She's alive. Min, she's actually alive." "Can we move her?" "The pod has its own power. We can take the whole thing back to the ship." Pressed buttons on the pod's control panel. "But we need to wake her slowly. If we do it too fast, she could have brain damage." They brought the pod back to the Morning Star. It took 2 days to safely bring the girl out of sleep. Stayed by her side the entire time, watching the monitors, adjusting the temperature degree by degree. When Wu finally opened her eyes, she screamed. She screamed for her mother. She screamed for her father. She fought against the medical restraints, trying to get out of the bed, her mind still trapped in that moment 15 years ago. Held her, talking softly, trying to calm her down. You're safe now, I've got you." It took hours for Wu to stop shaking. When she finally did, she looked up with eyes that seemed too old for her young face. "My parents." Shook her head slowly. "I'm sorry, sweetheart, they didn't make it." Wu closed her eyes. She had known, of course. She had watched it happen. But some part of her had hoped it was all a nightmare, that she would wake up and everything would be normal again. "How long was I asleep?" she asked. 15 years. Wu opened her eyes again. 15 years. Yes, it's the year 2302 now. You went into sleep in 2287. Wu looked down at her hands. They were still small, still the hands of an 8-year-old girl. But her mind felt different, older somehow. The weight of what she had seen pressed down on her like a physical thing. Over the next few weeks, Wu slowly learned about the galaxy she had woken up to. Captain Min let her stay on the Morning Star while they figured out what to do with her. She had no family, no home, nowhere to go. One day, a woman came to the ship. Her name was Marshal Bo Young, and she wore the uniform of the Galactic Peace Force. She sat down with Wu in the ship's small kitchen. "I've been investigating what happened at Station Helios," Bo Young said. "I read the reports. I saw the bodies. I'm very sorry for what happened to you." Wu said nothing. She had learned that adults always said they were sorry, but sorry didn't bring anyone back. Bo Young pulled out a tablet. "I found something in the station's computer systems. The main data core was destroyed, but there were backup files scattered throughout the network. One of them was a video file, uploaded to an open mercenary network." She turned the tablet so Wu could see. The screen showed Ho, standing in the laboratory holding his camera. Wu's whole body went cold. "Do you want to see it?" Bo Young asked. Wu nodded. Her throat was too tight to speak. Bo Young played the video. Wu watched as Ho boasted about the kills, as her father fell, as her mother screamed. She watched until the end, when Ho turned off his camera and laughed about how many views it would get. When it was over, Wu sat very still. Something had changed inside her. The fear that had lived in her chest since she woke up was gone. In its place was something harder, something cold and sharp like a knife. "Who is he?" she asked. "His name is Ho. He's a mercenary species. They're known for being warriors, very strong and very dangerous." Bo Young paused. "After this video, he became famous in the criminal world. Other mercenaries respect him. They say he never leaves witnesses, never fails a job." "Where is he now?" Bo Young looked uncomfortable. "Wu, I know what you're thinking, but where is he?" The Marshal sighed. "He operates in the outer sectors, taking contracts from anyone who can pay. The Peace Force has a warrant for him, but we can never find him. He's too smart, too connected." She reached across the table and took Wu's small hand. "I understand you want justice, but you're just a child. There's nothing you can do." Wu pulled her hand back. "I'm not a child anymore. I lost 15 years. I lost my parents. I lost everything." She looked at Bo Young with those eyes that seemed too old, too hard. "And I'm going to make him pay." "Wu." "He said humans are weak. He said we're forgettable. He said no one would make him pay." Wu stood up. Her hands were shaking, but her voice was steady. "He was wrong. I will find him. I will make him remember me. And I will make him pay for what he did." Bo Young studied the girl for a long moment. She saw something there that made her shiver. Determination. Pure, absolute determination. It was the kind of thing that couldn't be taught or trained. It was the kind of thing that made humans dangerous. "If you're serious about this," Bo Young said slowly, "you need to understand what you're up against. Ho is not just strong, he's a trained killer. He's been doing this for decades. Then I need to train too. It will take years, maybe 10 years, maybe more. You'll have to learn things that will change you. You'll have to become something you're not right now." Wu didn't hesitate. "I have time." He gave me time. 15 years in that pod, I'll use it. Bo Young reached into her pocket and pulled out a card. "There's a man named, he used to be a bounty hunter, one of the best. He retired to a colony on the edge of known space. If anyone can teach you what you need to know, it's him. She handed the card to Wu. But I'm warning you now. Revenge is a hard road. It will consume you. It will take everything you have. Wu took the card. She looked at it, then back at Bo Young. He already took everything I have. All that's left is making sure he pays for it. That night, Wu stood alone in the cargo bay of the Morning Star, looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there, Ho was alive. He was probably laughing, taking more jobs, killing more people. He had probably forgotten all about Station Helios, about 2 human researchers who begged for their lives. But Wu would never forget. Humans didn't forget. That's what the galaxy didn't understand about her species. They were small and soft and emotional, yes, but they remembered. They held grudges. They could wait years, decades, lifetimes for revenge. Wu touched her chest, feeling her heartbeat. It was slow and steady and patient. She had time. She had all the time in the world. "I'm coming for you," she whispered to the darkness. "I don't know how long it will take, but I'm coming. And when I find you, you'll wish you had killed me too." The stars offered no answer, but Wu didn't need an answer. She already knew what she had to do. The cub had woken up, and now she would grow her teeth. Master lived on a planet called New Haven, where the rain never stopped and the sky was always gray. Wu found him in a small house at the edge of a forest, far from any city or town. He was old, maybe 60, with scars covering his arms and a face that had seen too much. He looked at Wu standing on his doorstep, small and soaking wet from the rain, and shook his head. "No. I haven't even asked yet," Wu said. "You don't have to. I know why you're here. Bo Young sent you. She thinks I can train you." He started to close the door. "I'm retired. I don't take students." Wu put her foot in the door. "My parents were murdered. The killer is still out there, still working, still killing. I need to stop him." "Then hire a bounty hunter. There are plenty who need the work." "I need to do it myself." Studied her for a long moment. "How old are you?" 8 biologically, 23 if you count the years I was frozen. "And you think you can kill a mercenary?" "I think I can learn." Laughed, but it wasn't a kind sound. "Little girl, do you know what it can do? They can tear through steel with their bare hands. They can survive in vacuum for 5 minutes. They can see in the dark and smell fear from 100 meters away. What can you do?" Wu looked him straight in the eye. "I can wait. I can plan. I can remember. I can hate longer than he can stay alert." Something changed in his expression. He opened the door wider. "Come in. You're making my floor wet." The training began the next day. Woke Wu before sunrise and handed her a backpack filled with rocks. "Run. 10 kilometers. If you stop, you start over." Wu ran, her legs burned. Her lungs screamed, but she didn't stop. When she finished, was waiting with another task. "Now climb this rope 20 times." It went on like this for months. Running, climbing, lifting, fighting. Wu's body slowly changed. Muscles grew where there had been none. Her hands became hard with calluses. She learned to push through pain, to ignore exhaustion, to keep going when every part of her wanted to quit. "Humans have one advantage over species like the," told her one day while she was doing push-ups. "Endurance. We evolved to run our prey to death on the African plains. We can't beat them in a sprint, but we can outlast them. Remember that." After 6 months, brought in another instructor. Her name was Jin, and she had served in the human military's special forces. She taught Wu how to fight. "Forget everything you think you know about combat," Jin said. "In the movies, fights are fast and flashy. In reality, fights are ugly and brutal. They're about doing whatever works." She taught Wu dirty tricks. How to go for the eyes. How to strike joints and nerves. How to use her small size as an advantage, getting close where bigger opponents couldn't maneuver. How to never fight fair because fair meant dead. "A warrior trains in honor combat," Jin explained. "They have rules, traditions, things they won't do because it's beneath them. You have no such limitations. Use that." 2 years passed. Wu was 10 years old now, but she moved like a trained fighter. Brought in Sang-min, a tech specialist who had once hacked corporate systems for a living. "The best weapon is the one your enemy doesn't see coming," Sang-min said. He taught Wu how computers worked, how to break into systems, how to manipulate data and erase evidence. Information is power. Control the information and you control the battlefield. Wu learned fast. She was good with technology in a way that surprised her teachers. She could think like a machine, seeing patterns and connections that others missed. "You have a talent for this," Sang-min told her. "You think several steps ahead, that's rare." "I have to," Wu replied. "He's stronger than me, faster than me, more experienced. The only way I win is by being smarter." More years passed. Wu was 14 now, and she looked nothing like the scared little girl who had woken from sleep. She was lean and hard, with quick hands and cold eyes. She could run for hours without stopping. She could hack into most computer systems in under 10 minutes. She could kill in a dozen different ways. But wasn't satisfied. "You're good," he told her, "but good isn't enough. You need to understand your enemy, not just how he fights, but how he thinks." He made Wu study the culture. She learned their language, their customs, their warrior codes. She learned that they valued strength above all else, that they saw mercy as weakness, that they believed the strong had the right to dominate the weak. "They're arrogant," explained. "They think because they're bigger and stronger they're superior. They underestimate other species, especially humans. That's your opening. Let them think you're weak. Let them think you're just an emotional little human, and then strike when they're not expecting it." Wu also learned about Ho specifically. She found every record of his kills, every job he had taken, every place he had been. She studied his patterns, his preferences, his methods. She watched his boasting videos until she could recite them from memory. "You're obsessed," Jin said one day, concern in her voice. "Yes," Wu answered. She didn't see the problem. When Wu turned 15, told her it was time for real experience. "You need to learn how to track people, how to gather intelligence, how to work in the real world, not just in training." He arranged for Wu to work as an investigator for various clients. Small jobs at first, finding missing people or gathering evidence of fraud. Wu was good at it. She had patience that surprised her employers. She would wait days or weeks to get the information she needed. She never rushed. She never got sloppy. People began to talk about her. "There's this human girl," they would say. "She's young, but she's good. If you need someone found, she'll find them. She never gives up. Never." Wu built a reputation slowly, carefully. She made contacts in the criminal underworld, people who knew things, people who heard rumors. She asked questions about Ho, always casual, always careful not to show too much interest. She learned that he was still active, still taking contracts, still killing. He had become a legend among mercenaries. They called him the Ghost because he left no witnesses. They respected him. Some even feared him. Good, Wu thought, let them fear him, let him feel safe, let him think he's untouchable. On her 16th birthday, Wu stood in his training room for the last time. 7 years had passed since she had knocked on his door, 7 years of pain and training and transformation. "I think I'm ready," she said. Looked at her. The scared little girl was completely gone. In her place stood a hunter, patient and deadly. "Yes," he said. "You're ready, but Wu, I need you to understand something. Revenge isn't justice. It won't bring your parents back. It won't heal the wound in your heart." "I know," Wu said, "but it's all I have." He took everything else. Nodded slowly. He had known other people like her, people who lived only for revenge. It usually ended badly. But he also knew there was no talking her out of it. Some fires couldn't be put out with words. "Then go," he said. "Hunt well. And if you get the chance to walk away, to have a normal life, take it. Don't let him destroy more of you than he already has." Wu didn't answer. She simply bowed, a gesture of respect, and walked out. Behind her, watched through the window as she disappeared into the rain. He hoped she would survive. He hoped she would win. But most of all, he hoped she would remember that she was still human, still capable of being more than just a weapon. But deep down, he knew the truth. The moment Ho had killed her parents, he had created something dangerous. He had created a human with nothing to lose and all the time in the world to plan revenge. In the galaxy's long history, nothing was more terrifying than that. Wu started with the small pieces. She didn't go after Ho directly. That would be stupid. Instead, she went after the people who supported him, the network that kept him powerful and protected. Her first target was an information broker named, who sold data about targets to mercenaries. Wu approached him in a bar on a space station called Frontier's Edge. She sat down next to him and ordered a drink. "I hear you know things," she said. Looked at her and laughed. "You're just a kid. What do you want? Homework help?" Wu didn't react to the insult. She had learned that getting angry was weakness. Instead, she slid a data chip across the bar. "I want to know about Ho, his clients, his jobs, his patterns." Picked up the chip and checked it. His eyes went wide when he saw how much money was on it. That's a lot of credits. Why do you want to know about him?" "That's not your concern. Can you get me the information or not?" Thought about it, the money was good, the girl was nobody. What harm could it do? "Fine, give me a week." Wu nodded and left. She didn't tell that she had already hacked his computer systems. She didn't tell him that she knew about all his clients, all his secrets. She was testing him, seeing if he was trustworthy. A week later gave her files on Ho. They were good, detailed, exactly what she needed. Wu paid him and left. Then she sent anonymous tips to the Peace Force about other illegal activities. Within a month, he was arrested. One source of information for Ho, gone. Next, Wu went after a weapons dealer named Sung. He supplied special ammunition that could pierce armor. Ho bought from him regularly. Wu didn't approach Sung directly. Instead, she hacked his supply chain, changing shipping addresses and delaying orders. His clients got angry. His reputation suffered. Within 6 months, he was out of business. Another support cut away. Wu worked like this for a year, always careful, always patient. She never took credit for what she did. She made it look like business problems, bad luck, coincidence. Ho's network slowly crumbled, and he didn't even notice it was happening. During this time, Wu met another survivor. Her name was, and she was human too. Her colony had been destroyed by mercenaries 5 years ago. She had survived by hiding just like Wu. They met at a support group for colony survivors. Wu had gone there to gather information, but when she recognized something in her eyes. The same hard look, the same quiet anger. After the meeting, they talked. "You're hunting them, aren't you?" asked. "The ones who did it." Wu didn't bother lying. "Yes." "Can I help?" "Why would you want to?" His hands clenched into fists. "Because I'm tired of being helpless. I'm tired of being scared. If you're going after them, I want to be part of it." Wu studied her. Was older, maybe 25, with military training. She could be useful. More than that, she understood. She knew what it was like to lose everything. "Okay," Wu said, "but you follow my lead. No mistakes. No getting emotional at the wrong time." "I can do that." Together, they worked even more effectively. Was good at direct confrontation, while Wu preferred subtle manipulation. They made a good team. Their biggest move came when they targeted Ho's second-in-command, a named Hoon. He was loyal to Ho and almost as dangerous. Wu knew she couldn't kill him directly, not yet, but she could make him doubt his boss. She created false evidence showing that Ho was stealing from their shared profits. She made it look like Ho was planning to betray Hoon to the authorities. She planted messages in their communication systems, careful forgeries that looked real. Hoon confronted Ho about it. They had a massive fight that ended with Hoon leaving the crew. Another piece of Ho's support system destroyed. But Wu's most important asset was Miran, an information broker who worked in the gray areas between legal and criminal. Unlike, Miran was honest, or as honest as someone in her profession could be. Wu paid her well for information and never betrayed her trust. "You're building to something," Miran said one day. They were meeting in a quiet cafe on a space station. "All these targets you're asking about, they're all connected to Ho." Wu saw no point in lying to her. "Yes. You're either very brave or very stupid. He's not someone you want to make an enemy of." "I don't want to make an enemy of him. I already am his enemy. He just doesn't know it yet." Miran leaned back in her chair, studying Wu. "You're the one, aren't you? The girl from Station Helios. I heard rumors, but I thought they were just stories." "They're not stories." "How long have you been planning this?" 7 years, and I'll take 7 more if I need to." Miran whistled softly. "That's dedication. Most people would have given up or gotten themselves killed by now." "I'm not most people, I'm human. We hold grudges." Miran laughed at that. "Yes, you do. That's what scares the rest of the galaxy about you. You're patient in a way that's not natural." She pulled out her tablet. "Okay, if you're serious about this, I can help, but it's going to cost you." "How much?" "Not money, information. When this is done, when you've finished with Ho, I want the full story, exclusive rights." Wu thought about it. "Okay, but only after it's finished." "Deal." With Miran's help, Wu learned Ho's exact location. He was working a job in the Outer Rim, hunting down a corporate executive who had stolen money from his employers. It was supposed to be simple, easy money. Wu decided it was time to let Ho know he was being hunted. She sent him a message, encrypted and anonymous, containing only one thing: the video he had made of her parents' death. She attached a note: "The cub remembers, she's coming." Ho received the message while he was on his ship, traveling to his next job. He watched the video, his own voice boasting about the kills, and for the first time in his long career, he felt something unfamiliar. Unease. He checked the message's origin, but it was untraceable. He tried to figure out who sent it, but there were no clues. Someone out there knew about Station Helios. Someone was watching him. "Hoon," he called out, then remembered his second-in-command was gone. He was alone now, without his usual backup. When had that happened? When had his crew started falling apart? He began to review the past year, the problems with suppliers, the loss of information sources, the fight with Hoon. He had thought it was all random, just bad luck and business troubles. But what if it wasn't random? What if someone was targeting him? Ho pulled up files on Station Helios. He had almost forgotten about that job. It was just another massacre, another payment, another boost to his reputation. There had been no survivors. He had made sure of it. Except he remembered now. There had been a pod, a pod. He had seen it, but he had assumed it was empty or broken. He hadn't bothered to check. Had someone been inside? Had he left a witness? For the first time in decades, Ho felt fear. Not the healthy fear of a dangerous job, but a deep, primal fear. Someone was out there, someone who knew his secrets, someone who had been watching and waiting and planning. The galaxy's greatest mercenary suddenly felt like prey. He canceled his current job and went into hiding, choosing a remote station where he could think and plan. He hired new security, trusted no one, and constantly checked over his shoulder. But he couldn't escape the feeling. Someone was coming, someone who had been patient for years, someone who hated him with a cold, focused intensity that he couldn't understand. Somewhere in the darkness of space, Wu smiled. The trap was set, the prey was afraid, now came the final hunt. Ho chose an abandoned mining station called Deep Rock 7 for his hiding place. It was in the middle of nowhere, far from any trade routes or populated systems. The station had been shut down 20 years ago when the minerals ran out. Now it was just empty corridors and dark rooms, floating in space like a grave. He thought he was safe there. He was wrong. Wu had tracked him through a series of financial transactions that he thought were hidden. She had learned patience from humans and cunning from necessity. She knew he would run, knew he would hide, and she had prepared for exactly that. She arrived at Deep Rock 7 alone, had wanted to come, but Wu had refused. "This is mine," she had said. "I need to do this myself." The station's docking bay was open to space, the atmospheric shields long since failed. Wu wore a sleek black space suit as she drifted through the entrance, using small thruster bursts to navigate. She landed softly on a walkway and attached magnetic boots. Gravity still worked in some sections of the station. She moved through the corridors quietly, her weapon drawn. It was a simple plasma pistol, nothing fancy. She had learned that the best weapons were reliable ones, not powerful ones. The station was dark, lit only by emergency lights that still had power. Wu's footsteps echoed in the emptiness. She knew Ho was here. She could feel it. After all these years of hunting, she knew her prey. She found him in the central control room, standing by a window that looked out into space. He was massive, even bigger than she remembered. His armor gleamed in the dim light and his black eyes reflected nothing. "So," Ho said without turning around, "the cub finally shows herself." Wu stopped 10 meters away, keeping distance between them. "You remember me." "I remember Station Helios. I remember 2 researchers who begged for their lives." He turned around slowly. "I didn't remember a child, but when I reviewed the files I saw the pod. I should have checked it. That was sloppy of me." "Yes, it was." Ho looked at her, really looked at her. She was small, barely up to his chest. Young, no more than 16. Human, weak, fragile. "You did all of this. You destroyed my network. You turned my crew against me." "Yes." He started to laugh. The sound echoed through the empty station. "Impressive. I'll admit you surprised me, but now what? You came all this way to fight me. Little human, I've been killing for longer than you've been alive." "I know. I studied every kill, every job, every pattern." Wu's voice was calm, almost conversational. "You're good at what you do. Strong, fast, experienced. In a fair fight you would win in seconds." "Then why are you here?" Wu smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. "Because I don't fight fair, you taught me that. You said humans are weak because we're emotional, but you were wrong. Our emotions make us dangerous. We remember. We plan. We hate with a patience that your species can't understand." Ho's amusement faded. "You think your emotions will save you?" "No, my preparation will save me. You see, I've been in this station for 3 days. You thought you were the first one here, but I arrived before you. I know every corridor, every room, every system. I've had time to prepare." Ho tensed. "Prepare what?" As if in answer, the lights in the control room went out. Emergency power died. The station plunged into absolute darkness. Wu had thermal vision goggles. She could see Ho's heat signature, but he couldn't see her. She moved quickly, silently, already knowing where to go because she had practiced this exact scenario a dozen times. Ho fired his weapon blindly, the plasma bolts illuminating the room in brief flashes. But Wu was already gone, slipping through a maintenance hatch she had opened earlier. She led him through the station like a hunter leading prey into a trap. Every step was planned. Every corner was calculated. Ho was stronger and faster, but she knew where she was going and he didn't. In Section D, she triggered an airlock remotely. The sudden decompression pulled Ho off his feet, sending him tumbling. He caught himself with his powerful arms, but the effort cost him time and energy. In Section F, she had rigged a cargo container to fall. It crashed down in front of him, blocking his path, forcing him to go the long way around. More time wasted. More energy spent. Were powerful, but they tired quickly. Humans had evolved for endurance. Every delay, every obstacle was wearing him down while she stayed fresh. Finally, she led him to the mining shaft, a huge vertical tunnel that went down into the heart of the station. She was waiting there, standing on a platform on the opposite side. The gap between them was too far to jump, even for a. Ho stopped breathing hard. Clever, but you're trapped now too. Am I? Wu pointed up. Ho looked and saw what she had prepared. Dozens of mining charges, old explosives left behind by the miners, all wired together, all positioned to bring down the ceiling. You'll die too, Ho said. Maybe, but you'll definitely die, and that's all that matters. Ho stared at her across the gap. He saw something in her eyes that made him finally, truly understand. This human wasn't just angry. She wasn't just seeking revenge. She had become something else, something focused and pure and absolutely dedicated to his death. They were just two humans, he said. Just another job. Why does it matter so much? Wu's hand tightened on the detonator. They were my parents. You took them from me. You took my childhood, my future, everything. And then you laughed about it. You made it into entertainment. That's just business. That's how the galaxy works. No, that's how you work, and that's why you're going to die. Ho tried to rush her, running around the edge of the shaft looking for another way across. But Wu had planned for this too. She triggered more charges and a section of the walkway collapsed beneath him. He caught himself, hanging from the edge, his strength finally giving out. Wu walked to the edge and looked down at him. For the first time, their positions were reversed. She was above and he was below, hanging on, begging with his eyes if not with words. Please, he said, I can pay you. I can give you anything you want. They begged too, Wu said quietly. Do you remember? My mother begged. She asked you to just leave us alone. Do you remember what you said? Ho said nothing. You said humans are weak because we feel too much. You said we're forgettable. Wu pulled out a camera, the same kind he had used all those years ago. But here we are. I remembered. I never forgot. Not for 1 second in all these years. She started recording. This is kill number 1. Ho of the, he thought he could murder my parents and walk away. He thought no one would care. He thought wrong. Ho's grip was slipping. Don't do this. You're right that humans are emotional, Wu continued, still recording. We love deeply. We mourn forever. And we never ever forgive those who hurt our families. That's not weakness. That's what makes us terrifying. She reached down, not to help him, but to place a small charge on the wall near his hands. Then she stepped back. Tell me, she said, in all your years of killing, did you ever imagine you'd die like this? Beaten by a cub. Ho tried to pull himself up, but his strength was gone. Years of quick victories hadn't prepared him for this kind of fight, this long game of patience and planning. The galaxy will see this video, Wu said. They'll know you lost. They'll know a human child hunted you down and made you pay. Your reputation, your legend, all of it ends here. She pressed the detonator. The charge exploded and Ho fell. He fell down into the darkness of the mining shaft, down and down, until she couldn't see him anymore. Wu stood there for a long moment, listening to the sound of his fall. When it finally stopped, when there was only silence, she turned off the camera. She didn't feel happiness. She didn't feel satisfaction. She felt empty, hollow, like someone had scooped out her insides. Revenge hadn't healed anything. Her parents were still dead. The years were still lost. But it was done. Ho was gone. The monster who haunted her dreams was dead. Wu uploaded the video to the same mercenary networks where Ho had posted his kills. She attached a message. Ho is dead. The cub sends her regards. And to anyone else who thinks humans are easy prey, remember this. We're small, yes. We're emotional, yes. But we never forget. And we never stop coming. Within hours, the video had spread across the galaxy. Mercenaries watched in disbelief as their legend fell. The species called it impossible, a trick, a lie. But the evidence was clear. A human child had hunted down and killed one of the greatest warriors in the galaxy. Wu left Deep Rock 7 and returned to civilization. Marshal Bo-young was waiting for her at the spaceport. It's done, Bo-young asked. It's done. How do you feel? Wu thought about it, tired, empty, but free. Bo Young nodded. What will you do now? Wu looked up at the stars. Out there somewhere were other mercenaries who had attacked human colonies, other killers who thought humans were weak and forgettable. I think, Wu said slowly, I'll keep hunting. Someone has to show them that humans fight back. Someone has to make them afraid. She walked away, leaving Bo Young standing there. Behind her, the legend was already growing. Stories spread about the human girl who never forgot, who tracked her prey for years, who proved that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't strength or speed. It was the simple, terrifying fact that humans made everything personal. They remembered every wrong, held every grudge, and never stopped until justice was done. The cub had grown her teeth, and the galaxy would learn to fear them.